Yo, what's good, people? You're locked into Spill TV, lock in or get locked out. And today, guys, I'm going a bit personal with it. I just wanna divulge something that's a bit personal to me with my subs, and let you know a bit about me and a bit about where I come from. So, boy, how can I start this, man? All right, let's go with this, yeah. For those who don't know, and I don't expect you do, I was born in a place called Belfast, which is in Northern Ireland, and like the way of life over there compared to the UK, compared to England, because the part of Northern Ireland I was from is still part of England, which is remember that, because it's gonna be an important part to the story to remember that. So the part of Northern Ireland that I was from, the part of Ireland that I was from is still part of Great Britain. We're not like Southern Ireland where we're not part of the UK type shit. So what it is, right? Like I said, the way of life in Belfast in Northern Ireland is a lot different to England. And especially if you grew up the way I grew up, rebellious and all that type of stuff. So I was always into things I shouldn't have been into, which then led me to the streets. The streets, the version, the Northern Ireland version of UK streets, if that makes any sense. I was living it, and I was very, very young. Like I started hitting the streets from I was like 6, 7. You get me? Yeah, unbelievable, but trust me, there's receipts. You get me? And I'm sure, like, as time goes on, I'm sure my family members will be more than happy to talk my stories and stuff like that, because there's plenty of them. But basically, I never knew too much about, I'm mixed race, so I've got my dad's black, my mum's white, but I never really knew too much about the black side of my history. Do you know what I mean? And in Belfast at that time, it was very racist. I got called the N-word for breakfast, and the worst thing about it is I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. I didn't know that was a racist term, because I was never taught that. Do you know what I mean? Not to say that my dad never taught me. He tried, but I was just, you get me, you couldn't talk to me type shit. I was too not like, just, I only wanted to do what I wanted to do as a child. You know what I mean? So it was a bit hard, but I never knew that all these things was racist terms. And when I tell you the type of terms, the type of things that people called me, like, would make you curl at the stomach, bro. You know what I mean? And I used to think it was all right. But then I went on holiday to England to meet, my dad's side of the family, which I'd never met before. Remember I told you my dad's side is the black side of my family. So when I come England and I met like my older cousins and that, I just started realizing things, and I was saying things, and they was like, yo, you don't say them type of things. That's not right. You don't say things like that. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, couldn't understand it type shit. You get me? So got to the point where I kept saying these things, and like they started putting hands on me, and then they started to teach me what was right and what was wrong with it. I don't know if you've ever heard of the word called the hard ER. That's when you say the N word with like the ER bit on it, like the proper white person's racist term for it. No shade. I'm just saying. You get me? But yeah. So I started to learn a lot about my black history. And then I started to get emotions that I never knew existed in me. Do you know what I mean? Like anger, hurt, at things that I never knew I could be angry or hurt about, i.e. someone calling me the N-word or a racist term about my colour. Yeah, so I started to realise things, I started to learn, and I started to realise, yo, these people are actually violating me. Do you know what I mean? Like, these people that I look as my friends, or as I look as like my own, they're actually violating me every day, and they know it, but just I don't know it. Do you get what I'm saying? So I started to realise that what they're doing was wrong, and that's when my life started to change. Because when I went back to Belfast off holiday, I started fighting at school all the time, fighting in my estate all the time. You get me? Because I started to realise that all of these people, they're being racist to me, which I didn't know before because I weren't taught. Do you get what I'm saying? It's sad. Like, when you think about it, it's very, very sad, bro, because my friend, and this is another story, but I had a best friend in Belfast, and he was the only other black kid in my estate. Me and him were the only two black kids, and he was darker than me, so he had a harder job than I did. And, he actually unalived himself, which that's another story we'll get into. So rest in peace to Aaron. That was my best friend growing up, and he unalived himself because of the pressure and, the racism and the bad things in that country that he had to go through. Guys, stay tuned, because there's going to be a part 2 to my story. Make sure you keep locked. I just thought I'd divulge a little bit about myself, you know, to give you a little bit of an understanding. So where we're at with the story at the minute is I've been on Belfast. I've been on holiday to England. I've met my dad's side of the family, which is black, and I've realised now that in my country, Northern Ireland, where I live, they're being racist when they call me the N-word and all these other derogatory racist terms, which I didn't know before. Because when I went to England, my black cousins, they started to teach me that this is wrong. You need to start fighting for your right, bro. Yeah, so that's where we're at with it, man. Make sure you join me for part 2, man. Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you relate to my story. Let me know if you got any questions for me, if you want to hear anything about the country that I'm from. But there will be part 2 to this story and then part 3 until we get to the end of it, man. So just make sure you stay locked, man. Yeah, man. Spill TV. Lock in or get locked out. Don't sleep on me.